Early in my sales career, I started as a rookie sales rep and gradually built my reputation within the company and the market as well. So, like all rookies, I went through a discovery process to find out who is who in my team first, and then company. Once I identified the best producers in the company, I approached many of them to emulate their best practices and get similar results. I was looking for a shortcut, honestly, rather than going through trial and errors. I figured if I reach out to these people, I might get some tips and learn some best practices that I can utilize going forward. I know I was a hard-working person and I also was pretty smart, so I just need a little orientation from the top caliber producer that are already within the company. Unfortunately, these top producers were keen to befriend only other veterans, not necessarily a rookie like me. They were not willing to give me a hand. They were way too busy to help, and certainly not willing to show me the ropes. They felt like they worked extremely hard to acquire that knowledge, and they were not really willing to part with it freely. So I learned later now that they will recognize you only when you become a worthy competitor and a force to reckon with. So I worked like hell and focused primarily on my clients. My numbers start topping the chart every single month. Suddenly, they start paying a little bit more attention to me. I realized that you become a worthy contender and a threat when your closing rate become equal or higher than theirs. Now they start watching my performance closely. Once my name start topping the sales chart every single month, they start reaching out to me to learn my own technique and strategy. So I went from an undesirable to all of a sudden someone that people want to know. I really went from being a nobody to somebody everybody want to learn something from. You might have heard of the veteran syndrome disease. That is when the sales veteran feel entitled to special privileges simply because they feel that they paid their dues. They learned the hard way, hence they were not willing to share their knowledge and experiences with rookies like me. They have some level of fear of being dethroned. So please don't let that be you ever. I reject that concept because it's wrong. True leaders are the most helpful and most generous people you will ever encounter. Now, job tenure is really a performance, is not really a performance KPI, key performance indicator. Great salespeople welcome rookies, knowing that they were rookie at one point in their career. Rookies might not know the job initially, but veterans can learn tons from them as well. Some sales veterans achieve great performance because they inherit a solid book of business, better territory, more profitable account, and might even have benefit from a sympathetic manager who feed them high-value lead. We probably have seen, throughout our career, someone that benefit from the sympathy of their manager. So you cannot compare a 20-year real estate veteran, for example, with a rookie. But the veteran 20 years of experience often do not translate to 20 times the rookie productivity. Usually the difference is marginal. A rookie might struggle to book, for example, within the payment industry, 8 accounts per month in the B2B environment. But the best sales rep in the industry will, with years of experience, usually will average 12 accounts per month. To think of it, that's only about 50% more than someone with 0 years in the industry. So, few things to learn here. Experience matters when it comes to closing larger deal with minimal errors, and especially when you have some level of complexity. But does the ability to close with minimal error does not necessarily mean it's a sales skill superiority. Rather, it's just administrative familiarity. That's really what it comes down to. with the proper guidance and confidence, rookies can create similar, even higher result than a sales vet. So when it comes to result, experience is often overhyped. Experience is just a function of time. Being more experienced doesn't mean that you're a better performer. Experienced reps often recourse to a default setting where they revert to using the same knowledge they have acquired, even when it's clearly becoming obsolete. We've seen many sales veterans resist the pain of learning, even when it's critical. Sales is a dynamic environment that requires constant learning and upgrade of one's knowledge. Yet, most salespeople prefer learning by osmosis and by listening to their peers, manager, and customers rather than taking a proactive approach when it comes to their career, when one can learn from books, for example, you can learn from industry experts, blogs, and seminars. The field of sales is really filled with mediocrity because the bar to entry is set way too low, and companies are not always investing in their existing sales force, especially when it comes to their own career development. Hence, the level of incompetence that we tend to see. Let's discuss a little bit sales success. Success in selling requires learning the art of negotiation, communication, and influence. You can have all the desire, will, and intent to become the best in your industry, but unless you learn what makes the greats great, you cannot achieve the success and achieve your potential. Your mental condition drive your focus, intensity, and performance. Your results are nothing but a byproduct of your mindset and skill set. So strategic effort and clever tactics can increase your win rate. They can even help you with growth revenue and improve your result. Sales success, generally speaking, is achieved by the repetition of value-driven activities. Now, let me share with you something when it comes to the C in close. The C in close stands for candor, because it takes sincerity to build a lasting relationship with your client. Customers prefer to buy from a sales rep that is crystal clear on his or her communication. We know that clarity, transparency, and candor are a valuable currency to build solid relationship with your customers. The C in close stands for co-creating a business solution with your customer. It stands really for cooperating with the customer, through a level of competency to fix whatever issue that customer might have. Many salespeople focus on the close, but ignore the fact that you should put customer first. But you should always remember that a sale doesn't solve the customer problem. A sale solves a customer problem because it's the right solution. And if your product or solution that you propose to customer do not solve that problem, then you're nothing but a fraud. So selling should be based on work ethic and genuine concern. Closing requires convincing your customer to take a course of action that leads to a desired outcome. Your commission check should be earned through a win-win negotiations. If you win at the expense of your customer, you shouldn't be in sales at all. Likability and selling. Many salespeople believe that you should be liked to sell, or the higher your likability factor, the more you sell. However, that's not really totally true, or at least I do not agree with it, because it does not hurt to be liked, but it's not a requirement to sell successfully. I've seen salespeople that are not really always likable, but yet when it comes to their quota, they crush it month in, month out, because they're knowledgeable, they're honest, and people feel that they can trust them, and that's very important. So let me give you an example. When you hire a criminal attorney, you really don't go and hire the attorney you like the most. You probably will speak with several, but certainly you don't hire the one that you like the most. You do hire the most competent attorney usually you can afford. When your life is in jeopardy, you want to be represented by the best attorney in the industry. You would probably even hire the attorney with the most horrendous character if you know that they will keep you out of jail. Just like you wouldn't hire your CPA simply because of his or her charm. You hire your CPA because you believe that he or she will do a great job protecting your interests and saving you money, period. So, likability is a bonus, not necessarily a requirement. People buy product not because of likability factor, but they buy because of the value driven from the offer and the certainty behind the quality of your product or business solution. So liking you is a reliable and trustworthy salesperson is a bonus, but not necessarily a requirement. That's for sure. If likability were a vital factor, most sales professionals that tend to be less charming and more of a low-key would be struggling today. As we know, the world is full of successful salespeople that are not quite attractive in terms of personality, look, and presence. Yet many are at the top of their game because they focus primarily on selling value and connecting customer needs with the right business solution that delivers the right outcome. So likability is a good characteristic to have, but it doesn't guarantee you sales success. Remember one thing, your customer care literally zero about your company. They care zero about your brand, your story, or even your product. What they do care about is what you can do for them. If you can manage to do that well, you will be a great closer.